Hey guys, the title of this video is buying a car or leasing a car, and you sign the contract, you go home with the car, and then 2 days later, 3 days later, or let's just say within a week, the dealership calls you and they say, okay, Mr. Customer, we need you to come back to the dealership because we have some more questions about your job, or we just need you to come back to the dealership. Or they call you and they say, well, I need you to provide some more information. I need you to bring in maybe updated pay stubs. And you're thinking in your mind, well, you already gave them the updated pay stubs. And then you question them. And you say, well, I already gave you the pay stubs. And then the finance manager, the person that called you, says, you know what? Bring me your pay stubs from 30 days before that. Or I need you to bring me additional proof of income. Or I need you to bring me additional piece of mail, which we call proof of residence. That shows that you live at that particular address that you stated, put on the application. But anyway, they need additional information and they want you to come back to the dealership. But what they want you to do is they want you to drive into the dealership. They don't want you to come back into the dealership and they have a conversation with you. But in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I signed this contract. This is my car. So you get to the dealership and you have a conversation with the salesperson. Then the finance manager or the sales manager comes over, or they take you into an office and they say that we're having a problem with your pay stubs, or the bank's having a problem with it, or they try to verify your job and the job says you don't work anymore, you have another job, or we just got some issues. And they say, you know what, we're gonna need you to return this car. We're not able to get your proof of this car. But you're thinking you signed a contract, you're good. Well, guess what? You're not. Because the minute you leave the dealership, unless you're paying cash for that car, check, that's not gonna bounce. Whether you put some on a credit card, maybe you put all of it on a credit card. That's when you know that car is yours. If you've done those things. Let me just repeat it again. Pay cash for the car. You got a money order, certified money order, or money order, or cashier's check. But you pay for the car, right? You know that's your car. They can't call you back, put you on the carpet, because you know you already paid for that car. But the point is, you left the dealership and you provided fraudulent information. You provided information that you know was false, but you thought you were good because you left the dealership. So listen, a dealership can always come back and say, you know what, you need to return that car, especially when you provide fraudulent information. So it's tax time. The purpose of this video is for me to inform you that just because you signed a dotted line on that contract doesn't mean you're going to be able to keep that car. The dealership can come get their car. Now, they might not send one person or a salesperson. They may send the repo man or someone that repo cars to get that vehicle if you don't choose to bring it in. Let me give you an example of something happened to me. I had a customer provided pay stubs. Everything was verified up front through this bank, which I'm going to say the bank, credit acceptance. They had credit issues. The credit acceptance is like our last resort bank that we use because we rather use other banks because credit acceptance they got the higher interest. You're going to pay more. Even though you're going to pay more to other banks too, just depends on your credit. But anyway, she provided everything. The verified income, the verified insurance, everything was good. But guess what? 2 weeks later, her friend came and got a car. And the person that got the car in their name was the co-signer on that loan. Co-signer. So here it is, 2 cars with one person connected to both cars. That person got a car by himself, then he co-signed for someone else. The second person didn't make their payment. What they did was, they didn't make their payment. They just said they lost income, they lost their job. They didn't make their first payment and second payment. Now mind you, credit acceptance accepted the first 2 payments from that other car. But what they did was they called for the first one to be due. Now, that's crazy, right? So the information that we found out after the fact was fraudulent that she provided, even though they verified it. But because of that second loan that they got, they didn't take the second loan, they took the first loan. They unraveled the deal. So my point is, if you don't provide fraudulent information to these banks, because right now times are different. We got recession. It's worse than what it was back when Obama was president. And then General Motors, Chrysler filed bankruptcy. Now nobody's filing bankruptcy because they already did that before. So they're smarter. They're gonna give you that higher interest rate. In Michigan, that interest rate you can pay is 25%. But in other states, it might be 28. It depends on what the cap is in that state. So what I'm telling you is, be careful providing fraudulent information. Because just signing that dotted line doesn't mean that the car belongs to you. Because you provided false information and the bank found out. So know this, just because you sign that line doesn't mean it's your car. So right now, because it's hard times, be smart before you make any investment or you do anything when it comes to buying a car and you're providing false information. So what I'm telling you, stay on the up and up, because these banks are smarter than they ever have. And let me just tell you this, give me an example. The example that I gave you in the video was something that happened to me, right? Actually happened to me. Every time I do a video or every time I have conversation, I'm sharing content, I like to put myself in that situation. Most of the time, the situation has happened to me. And it's the real deal. So I'm not telling you some made up story. I'm not giving you a name, but I'm giving you a real live, a customer that it happened to. With me being the salesperson. So what we had to end up doing in that situation, the lady called herself hiding in the car for months, right? But guess what? The repo man finally caught up and we repoed the car. She came in and said that car was hers. And guess what? She didn't get that car back. And we even tried to give her a chance to even get it refinanced, get it financed again in somebody else's name. Guess what? We still couldn't do it in somebody else's name. So what I'm telling you is, get on the up and up when you're doing things. Be smart about what you're doing and the things that you're providing these banks. Because times will get worse before they get better. All right, I'll see you on my next video. Yes, this was long. And yes, I had to tell a couple stories. And yes, I had to go from the front to back, the middle, and back to the front. But I hope that this video helped you today. All right, see you on the next one.